You're back with Canterbury Today. We're joined now by a man described as a blasphemer, a heretic, a curser, a man who's spent the last 24 hours listening to his character being dealt to by quite a lot of the people of Christchurch. Quite a lot, in fact. Welcome, the Wizard of Christchurch. And beautifully dressed, we coordinate nicely, don't we?
Thank you, sir.
It's rather good, actually.
Yes. Well, I'm afraid you might be in trouble for wearing black even. They don't like black, you know. Suddenly you must wear bright red or green or orange or purple or stripes, but not black. Apparently it's evil to wear black.
I was amazed today to discover the depth of feeling that the people of Christchurch have for you on various...
But not moderate. It's either for or against. It's not much in the middle, is it?
You're a polarising
I know, I don't mean to. I'm having fun, but they seem to polarise, don't they?
There are people in this town, Wiz, if I may, who believe that you curse people. Do you curse people?
Well, I've got no evidence that I have. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. I'd like to know about this. Perhaps they could give an example of a curse that I've done and the effect it had on somebody. I'd love to hear about this sort of thing, but I don't remember anything about this myself.
There have actually, I have actually heard of people today who have attested to that. That is their genuine belief.
Well, it could be the witch thing. Remember the witch trials in Salem? They claimed that these people cursed the cows. They wouldn't give milk. And they burned them at the stake because they claimed they had evil powers, and this is a dangerous precedent to set. These people, I think, are extremely dangerous. They're not just a joke, you know. They're actually dangerous people. And if they were in charge of the government, there'd be a lot of dead people in New Zealand shortly afterwards, I'm afraid.
I don't want to get into the rights or wrongs of wizardry, per se. I would like to know, though, how it feels to you to be the subject of the comment and debate over the last 24 hours.
Well, I've had it a lot in the first few years, and I thought it would stop because I've been so patient and no one's got any evidence that I do any of these things. I thought after 25 years I've been in Christchurch now that have at least realised that these claims that are made against me are just slanderous and have no foundation. But even if they were true, it's the weirdest thing to think of someone who's doing curses in the city and the city having to sort of ban him from the square because he does curses. It's all kind of rather like a science fiction movie, isn't it? Or a fantasy film or something, but like Lord of the Rings going on in Christchurch.
There are people who said today that look, they've said all sorts of different things.
Because you're in the middle, you're on the council, you're on the subcommittee, and you've got to talk back. You've been actually fielding a lot of the queries, haven't you?
I've been listening from all sides of this, and there have been many. There have been people who said outright that you are a blasphemer and a heretic and a curser, and that to put a plaque honouring you in front of the cathedral, not right in front, but in the area,
it's not an honorary thing,
would be bureaucratic blasphemy and environmental assassination, and that we should not do that. There have been others who said, get a life, have a bit of fun, he's a great bloke, we think he's brilliant. Others have said you're a tourist attraction and an icon. Others have said, no, don't honour him because we don't like what he says. And still others have said, you can't afford a plaque, you can't do anything right, you made enough of a mess of the square, and some have said, stick a plaque in the Arts Centre. So what are we going to do, Wiz? What do we do?
Well, I do what I've done, which is to carry on regardless, really. If you know that your enemy are usually less imaginative, more malevolent than you are, and rude and irresponsible, which they are, I think, in these cases, I mean, you're responsible. You make a mistake, you get blamed for it, don't you? People say these things on talkback, they come along and say, this man's a blasphemer. I don't justify it. Now, if they were the bishop, if a bishop says something like this, he has to justify it, and the church would listen carefully, making a case. I mean, I've been quite happy to go to any ecclesiastical court to discuss my heresies.
Do you believe in God?
Well, I'm afraid that that belief in God is very much for the junior ranks of mysticism and religion. You'll find now that modern theology doesn't go in for belief in a person that you ask favours from. So that whether it's an Anglican theologian or a Catholic theologian, even Islamic, we're all now agreed that the spiritual realm, when you refer to these beings as parental figures, is very naive. So anyone who says they believe in God is acting rather like someone who believes in Father Christmas. It's a bit naive. It's a lot more subtle than that. So I, as a lecturer in sociology at university, religion, I myself have done a lot of these books about the theology, and I'm afraid I cannot say that anyone who says I believe in God is very mature in their beliefs. I think that to say that is something we can't understand, and therefore I'm not a humanist. Humanists don't believe in God, they believe in man, and they believe in science and technology, like the skeptics, for example, and I'm not one of them either. I put a large part of my life is in avoiding what I would call evil in my terms, such as lending money interest rates. I have no bank account.
Answer me this. A lot of people today suggested that one of the reasons you cause such polarisation in the community is some of the comments you've made over the years about women and the role of women.
Oh,
now, I've heard you refer to me as a woman with a capital W and felt quite offended when you did that. How sincere are you in those comments?
Well, I'm not
are
a
you
sincere
doing
type
it just
of
for show?
But I do claim women run the world, not men. This is the right claim. This is what people get so upset. They think men run the world. We're trying to punish men for being so awful. I think the world is run by women, but it's done in a very devious and crafty way, by manipulating men. And that men are basically sort of stupid and just do what they're told by women. Like they fight wars for women, for more land, for their babies. They make money so that women can have nicer houses and go shopping and so on. These are very naive. What I am saying, though, is that in the last 50 years, women have changed and are much improved because they're actually, the feminists are actually working now, earning money themselves, and not playing the sex object or mother goddess. So things are getting better, but I still make my point, whereas most people think that's entirely wrong. But I make my case and I argue it right through.
I see. Good.
But again, at no point do what I say in the square, do I claim it's true.
No.
And I have no use of force to back it up. It's just me playing with ideas, has been for the last 30 years.
A couple of years ago, 47 wizards around the world signed a petition which they took to the council, which actually started all of this, that said, we want a plaque here in recognition of the wizard. Were you actually consulted at that point? Were you part of that idea?
I was all part of it, yes. You see, the thing was, there's only been so far a notice board in the square for 2 years. Now, people have been coming to the square for the last 25 years, lots of people, because they want to hear me and see me. I'm so famous. And they bother the people in the cathedral, the police kiosk, all the shops saying, where does the wizard speak? When does he speak? Where can we find him? Because there's no commercialisation what I'm doing. I'm not commercial. There's no firm backing me. There's no sort of information about me much around at all. So they want to know where. Then after about 20 years, I got the council to put a plaque up on the wall of the square saying when I spoke and where and what times, what time of the year. And that was there for the last 2 years. But as the wall's going as well, leaving nothing in the area, and as I love things that are different, unusual, and imaginative, I thought, why not do something which is thoroughly ancient and really modern at the same time, sort of postmodern, using the old technique of a slab of stone on the ground, which marks a site of some sort. In my case, the place where I lie, because I don't ever claim to tell the truth in the square. I'm a sort of an orator. So where I speak each day, here lies the wizard, and it's not just like a memorial stone, it also gives my website address. So any tourists say, oh, he's not here this time of year, I'll look up the website address and contact him through the internet. So it's doing two things. It's giving Christchurch a special place, a special stone, and it's giving the tourists information.
How would you feel if it was at the Arts Centre?
Oh, it useless. There's no
So you're saying that the plaque is actually being misinterpreted by the public. It's not a plaque to honour you at all.
No,
it's simply an identification of where you speak.
To save the spot, because after it's been so shifted. And I'm a major tourist attraction. All over the world, I'm so famous. They want to know about me. I'm sure these born-again Christians don't like me, but it makes no difference. I'm still extremely well known. Now, I would object to something else. I think television right now is purveying a load of rot, which is occult. Tarot cards, astrology, numerology, all on 0900 numbers. People are spending vast sums of money on learning a load of rubbish, which is very dangerous. Now, if they want to attack the occult, attack TV1, TV2, TV3, TV4. They're all doing it. Prime. They're all at it. That's really a very interesting area. Why aren't these people going really over the wall about this stuff? But they're not. They attack me.
The wizard of Christchurch.
And you've known me for years, haven't you? And all
I
the
have
accounts
indeed. I have indeed.
Yes, where's all this cursing and carrying on? So I'm afraid these people, I think, are dangerous. And they had done something that I object to. In 1995, during my 21st anniversary of my being in Christchurch, there was a giant egg in the square. And it was a huge affair, with a day of rage. And 7 wizards were in the egg, and it all exploded. It was thick polystyrene, so it wasn't dangerous. But we put our staffs just outside on the ground by the egg. And while we were in the egg, 2 people took the staffs, stole them in fact, into the cathedral, put them on top of the Bishop Harper's tomb, and did a strange chant over it. It was the same 2 people. They desecrated the Anglican cathedral. Now, how's that for a story? And that's on film. Actually, in Christ, I've got a copy of the film about that, and the woman in the cathedral saw it all too. So these people are really a bit over, and I think should be just so disciplined. Someone should control them. They're doing terrible things.
I suspect we're heading into dangerous territory, which is actually pretty consistent with the rest of my day. The wizard. Many thanks for that.
This is not boring, is it?
It's never dull. I'll let you go to the rugby now. I'm sure that's where you're off to.
Yes, you've got to watch it on Sports Guy. Yes.
Take thy rod of thy staff and all
Thanks
that.
to you for saying that for me.
After the break, no problem.